Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can pull data from an external service and display it in Home Assistant. For example, this is my Office dashboard and you can see that I already have some statistics in here. For example, this is my number of steps that I retrieve it from my phone. This is my productivity that I retrieve it from rescue time. This is the percent of tasks completed from Todoist and so on. Okay, what I want to do is to retrieve my Pluralsight goal statistics and display it here. So if I go to my Pluralsight account, you can see that I want to watch 4 hours of Pluralsight content every week. This week I only watched 28 minutes. And I want to have this in my dashboard so I can see it every day and don't forget about it. Now, if you want to do this, we usually need an API, but Pluralsight doesn't have an open API for individual users. So what we're going to do is to inspect the requests, see which one has the information that we need, and display it in Home Assistant. Okay, so I found out, I already did some research before, and I found out that this is the request I need, this one, the goals endpoint. And if you look at the response, you can see that this is the goal length in minutes, so it's 4 hours, that's 240 minutes. And this is the minutes watched, but they also send me the goal percent complete, so I don't have to do any math. I just have to display this in Home Assistant. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is to grab the URL and head over to Node-RED. Now, as you can see here, I already have 2 nodes prepared. This one, let's start with the function. So in order to make a request, we have to prepare some data for that request. We have to prepare the URL, we have to set the method type. In our case, it's a GET request. This is the URL. And we also need the cookie, because we have to tell Pluralsight who we are and that we are who we are. So because we don't have an API, I just grabbed the cookie and I placed it here using this credentials node. Okay. So here is my Pluralsight cookie that you could see in here. I'm going to need an inject node. Okay, and a request node. HTTP request. Now if you open this, we see that we have some information that we set in the function. We're going to, the default is get, but we'll set it by the message.method property. The URL is set in the function, and I think this is all that we need. Hey, let's see if this works. We can return a parsed JSON object. And in order to see the response, we'll use a debug node. Now, if I click on this button, the request should happen and I should receive the information from Pluralsight. Okay, as you can see, this is minutes watched, the goal, and the percent complete. What we have to do now is to take this goal percent complete property and store it in Home Assistant. I'm going to do this using input number. Okay, let me just find something that I copied in here. So this is the entity name. This is the friendly name that will appear on the UI. I use the book icon. The minimum number is 0 because maybe there's a week where I haven't watched any Pluralsight content. The maximum is 100, and the step is 1. What we have to do next after we save that is to reload the input numbers. Okay, and now we have to store it using Node-RED. So what I'm going to do here is grab the property name. Let's put the name here, so it's Pluralsight goal. Okay, and we're going to use the input number service. I'm going to set value, entity ID is input number.Pluralsight goal percent, and here we need a JSON where we send the value. But we can't use just JSON because the value is not hard-coded. We need to tell it to retrieve the value from this property. And in order to do that, we have to specify the path to that property. It's message.payload. So as you can see here, it's message.payload.goal%complete. Okay, and we'll have to set the type of data to JSON data expression. Okay, if you use JSON, it will say that this is an invalid expression, so it won't work. That's why I pick JSON data. And I think that's all. Let's deploy this. Make the request. I think I made it too fast. Let me clear this, make the request again. Okay. And we can see here, input number set was called at 11:49. Easiest way to check this is by inspecting the state. Okay, let's search for input number dot Pluralsight goal%, and we see that it's 12. Okay, now let's display it in Home Assistant. Okay, I'm not going to use YAML, I'm just going to use the UI here to make this easier. So we're going to use a gauge, but Pluralsight goal%. Okay, and we see that the gauge appeared in here in the first column. We can also define severity. For example, if we think that over 50% of the goal completed should be green, we'll just type 50 here for green. Yellow, let's say if it's over 10%, and you can see that now the chart is yellow. If you would say 15%, that it won't be yellow. Okay, and I think we can just save this. And if you want to test that it works, we can do something in the Services tab. Okay, let's decrement this. So as you can see, it works. And if I invoke the function again, it's back to 12. That's it. So to make a recap, in this video you saw how to retrieve external data from the service and how to display it in Home Assistant using red node and a gauge and input number. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.